Good morning, folks. It's another cold morning here on Mill Creek Road, and I went up this morning and opened up the water station. There was about a little over a quarter of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch of ice on the water station. I broke that off and opened it up, so it'll stay open for the remainder of the day. And we're expecting a little bit more cold weather overnight, probably below freezing again. So I'll have to come up again in the morning. But then the long forecast is that we're going to warm up. We're going to stay in the high 20s and low 30s overnight, with 40s and 50s during the day for the remainder of the month of January. So that'll be nice. I moved up a bale of hay here for the cows yesterday. It was kind of left over from when they were over in the wooded lot. They didn't eat very much of that one. So I moved it over here yesterday, let them eat on that. Plus they've got grass here in this 1 acre paddock that I've got them in. I'm going to hold them here till, well, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. So I hope I make it. And the purpose of my video this morning, though, is to kind of talk about last year's goals, how we did, and then recap that. And then I'm going to talk about the 2024 plan or goals for farm improvement projects. So just a little quick update. The things that we did accomplish that I had on my goal list for last year was I wanted to add the water station at paddock number 3. And we did that at the end of the year. I actually finished it up the very first part of January, I believe, of this year. And I also put in a water station at paddock number 2, which is right next to it. And the purpose of doing that was, 1, I have another in-ground water station that I can use. And 2, I had to bring the drain line all the way down the hill anyway to daylight it. So I just utilized that same ditch to put in that second water station. And there's a video out there on that. One of the other goals that I had was to put out some native warm season grasses. And if you look in the background of this particular paddock that the cows are in, you're going to see that paddock over there that's bare. That's where we planted the native warm seasons. And they didn't come in quite as heavy as I'd hoped for. I still have hope that when spring comes, there's going to be some seeds that were dormant laying in the ground because it didn't get a chance to germinate because of the poor moisture conditions that we had all summer. So at least I got it in, and we're going to see what happens. One of my other goals was to do a little bit more winter stockpile. So in 2022, I had stockpiled an 8-acre strip that we had baled in the spring. And I let it go ahead and stockpile all summer. And we used that for winter grazing last January and a couple of days in February. And what I did there was I rotated them through on 1 acre paddocks, and I would let them eat for a couple of days, and then I would roll out a bale of hay, half a bale of hay, and let them eat that. And then I'd move them to another stockpiled paddock and repeat that process until we were done. And that got me all the way from the 1st of January, actually the beginning or the end of December, all the way to the beginning of February. Then one of my goals was to complete the installation of the electric fence in that particular 8-acre field so that I could start doing rotational grazing in there. Got that done. So what I have now is 36 acres, and I have approximately 38 paddocks in that 36 acres. 2 of those is the lake paddock, and then the what I call the northwest corner, which is where they wintered during that first cold spell. And I also want to talk about the hay situation. So 2023, we went through 62 bales of hay, or approximately 56,000 pounds of hay. 10 of those bales was used during the winter bale grazing rotation that I talked about earlier. Then I also used 9 bales to feed the cows when we went on vacations. I would just hold them in one paddock, give them several bales of hay, and they would stay there till we got back. And the amount of hay that I left them would depend on how long we were going to be gone. And then I also fed them 2 bales during the drought period because I held them. There was no grass growing, so I just held them in the paddock for about a week, and they ate what was in the paddock plus 2 bales. Now, also, one of the things that we ended up having to do because of the drought this year was I had to buy some hay. And in order to buy the hay, I had to sell some livestock. So I sold 2 cows. They were young. One was 3-year-old, one was 2-year-old. They both had calved. And I sold 3 heifers that were born the year before. I took those to market. I hated to see the heifers go. I had planned on holding them along with the other 2 cows, but hey, you got to get hay if you're going to feed your cows, and can't keep them all if you don't have any hay. So hay is expensive during the drought. So that's kind of what went on with the hay situation last year. We didn't make as much hay this year in our first cutting. I think we made, I put up 11 bales. Normally I would put up about 33 to 40. So it was very much suppressed, the amount of hay that we put up. I have currently got about 4,900 pounds or 49,000 pounds of feed in the form of hay, 20 round bales and 34. Well, actually, I got 32 now of the 3x3x8 square bales. So we're doing pretty good. I'm not having to feed hay as I rotate these cows through these paddocks. It's not the best grass for them, but hey, you know what? It's something to put in their stomachs. They're holding their conditions. Nobody's sick. And it looks like we're going to make it till the middle of February on the next rotations that I've got. I got 5 paddocks left after this one. And to talk about the 2024 plan real quick, I keep it pretty simple. We've got 2,200 feet of woven wire fence that goes along the road up over on the East Ridge. That ridge is rented to my neighbor. He runs about 15 to 18 cows and calves over there with the bull, and the fence was put in when I was 14, and that's a long time ago. It's over 50 years old. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old it is. The posts have been rotting off for years, and what posts are still wood ones that are in the ground. Most of them have rotted off, and we've put a T-post here and a T-post there. Well, last year I spent the summer going through and driving pipe posts, drill pipe posts, and also trimming out the fence row of any brush, trees, cedars, whatever was growing in there in those spots. So that's a project that I'm still going to continue to do. I'm almost got all the pipe posts driven. I got 3 more at a corner I got to do. And once I get that done and I get my welding done that I need to do, I'll start going along and replacing the wood posts that are bad with new T-posts. And we'll tie that woven wire back up because it's still good galvanized fence, even after 50 years. What was on my list last year I didn't get to was fencing that East Ridge field. It's 30 acres. I want to cut it in half next year so that you can rotate the cows back and forth, at least making them eat in the east end of the field, which they kind of leave it alone because there's only one water station there. I also want to put in a timeless fence system on 2 sides of a wooded lot that has woven wire on the other 2 sides. And so I'm going to put in the timeless fence system with 5 wires because we're going to run goats in there. And the goats have learned to stay away from the electric fence, so I don't really have too much concerns about them getting out. And that's really for projects. I think that's pretty much it. I'll still continue to do improvements in the pastures as far as brush hogging, and doing some overseeding in spots. And then the last thing that is not my project, but I will end up taking care of, is my daughter is wanting to get some cattle brought to the farm. And the breed that she wants to bring are the Highlands. And she also wants to get another horse because our horse is by itself now. And she needs to have a companion. So those are the 2 things that she wants to take care of this year. And I'm more than pleased to let her do it. So anyway, that's the wrap of 2023. And this is the plans for 2024. And one other thing, we've almost completed a month of grazing on the winter stockpile without giving the cows any hay except for the 3 bales I gave them during that really cold spell. I didn't want them to be short of feed, so I gave them that hay to make sure that they made it through those really cold temperatures without any trouble. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned and see how things are going for us in 2024. And God bless you all.